Primary use case is hard to say. So we actually have used it in a number of different areas in our company. We've used it for HR, we've used it for IT, we've used it for our business partners on the front lines using applications. So primary use case is hard to say, but basically what we try to do is automate the drudgery out of our business partners' lives. Probably ease of use. It's been very easy for us to, we like to operate in a sort of a federated model, right? So when we originally started, right, it was just our vendor partners that were doing the development. Now we have our own set of core developers at my company, and then since 2017, we now have about 23 different people, most of whom are our certified developers, and a lot of them didn't have a developer background when we started. The bot store, my impressions are I really love the idea of it. I think we've actually downloaded a couple of them and used. One of the more recent one was interesting. It required a license key, which kind of confused us. I mean, if it's freeware, why do you need a license key? But we got around it. What's also been nice, the most recent one happens to be that we used was developed by a vendor partner that we're partners with as well. So when we had some issues with it, we were just put in contact with the developer at that same firm, and we were able to work through any issues, and subsequently they've made updates to it and uploaded it back to the bot store. So it's actually great. We don't use it as attended as much. Most of our automation, as a matter of fact, almost all of it, we've had a few cases where we were going to use it attended and then just decided that for the rarity of those types of uses, we didn't want to have a bot runner just sitting, waiting for someone to chime in, 5 times a day. So instead, we've created more scheduled. So right now, all of our bots are running unattended. What's important to us is continuous improvement and learning, right? We want everyone to be able to look at what they do with a critical eye towards how can I improve, how can I get things better? And by introducing the solution and working closely with our business partners every time we create a bot, their mindset has shifted, right? So now they are looking at everything else they do and saying, hey, wait a minute, maybe I can do this in a different way. And whether it's using a bot or some other solution, or sometimes it's even just improving the process as it is without any automation. The company in different parts of organizations really starting to adopt the idea of continuous learning. It's really easy to use. Again, going back to something I mentioned earlier, we have a number of people at our firm that are now certified RPA developers that had no development background, and they did that just by the online training. In some cases it was the online training as well as a 3-day class that we brought in-house and had taught. But the only, I think, part where you want to get experience and learning is around error handling. Some with our HR applications, right, where there's certain courses, because we're in a financial industry, we have to maintain certain certifications, et cetera. So some of that's automated, that we help generate the reports back to HR. In some cases, there's some very front end that our CSRs, we have processes automated for them so that they have a less manual work effort. We've worked with our compliance area. Some of the things we've automated there, because we're a financial industry, there's political contributions that we have to be very careful of. There's a pay-to-play law in the US, and so we've actually automated that, which was very difficult because you had to go to all 50 states to download all the information, and trying to do it manually was probably over 8,000 hours a year, and now we're doing it automated. One of the first steps we do before automating anything is that's one of the things we determine, right? Is it a process where there's enough ROI involved to dedicate development resources or a bot to? And sometimes, in all honesty, the use case is, hey, we want to learn something, so we do it anyway. But generally, we do a time and motion study, so we understand how much time we're saving somebody. We measure that. Additionally, we measure costs, and that varies depending on the department that we're doing the automation for. But we can measure that, and usually that's a straight hourly rate times the time we save. Cost avoidance is something that we do too. So in other words, there was a process that we automated where a department was considering hiring someone just to do some file transfers and copies, et cetera, and we automated that process, and they just didn't have to hire somebody. Oh, definitely. Yeah, a lot. Pretty good. In all fairness, I know we went from 10.5 where we thought we were fairly stable. We did have some issues. We migrated to 11.2 and encountered some other stability issues around scheduling and things. But after talking with some AA techs who were extremely helpful, we've recently, just last week, upgraded to 11.3.2.1, and that seems to have solved some of our problems. We're still testing. I still need to do some checkout, but obviously I'm here this week, so I'm not doing it right now. But generally speaking, stable. I think knowing what it's trying to do, I think 100% stability with everybody's different architectures and environments is going to be pretty difficult, but I think they do a good job. Easy. Installing license keys, bringing up new bot runners, all that stuff from the Automation Anywhere side of it, it's easy. It's very easy. I've had little to no difficulty doing any of that. For us, it's just, I have to go through the paperwork of hardware, VDIs, et cetera, and that's all on our side, right? But from Automation Anywhere standpoint, it's been very quick and easy to scale. We did our pilot, I think it ended in the first or second quarter of 2017. So you're looking at just right around 2 years. The technical support, from my experience, has been very good. Granted, sometimes there's a little slowness, but whenever I've deemed it critical or whatever, and I've had conversations with our customer service manager or anyone, they've been able to get me with somebody, an architect, and it's been phenomenal. When we did the upgrade to 11.2, it was kind of complicated because we had to start all over. We had to bring in new hardware and set up new databases, but the gentleman, Dwanit, who helped me out, was great, and he fully documented the process for us, which was awesome because I didn't have that from the original installs at 10.5. Because he documented it, I was able to go through the upgrade from 11.2 to 11.3 very simply, very fast. I would say the technical support's very good. Integrator and reseller originally, we worked with HCL Technologies, but we found some gaps in our knowledge because of that. So we didn't fully understand the architecture, how it's built. Like I said, all the process of the installs, we didn't get all that documentation. And that made some things a little difficult for us, especially when we ended up parting ways with HCL. We signed with a different vendor for both development and reselling, Optimix. And so going through with the AA architects and getting it installed was great. I argue it's somewhere right in the middle, right? It wasn't super simple. We could have probably done things a little better than we did, but it also wasn't, horribly complex. The user interface, I know, seems, a lot of the parts of it I really like. I think there's some things that could be made a little simpler, a little less click around here, drag over there to use. So why we wanted to invest in our RPA solution, this was our first solution, so we weren't with someone else first. We did do some evaluation, looked at how and what we wanted to do with bots, right? Did we want to just use it purely on the back end? Did we want to use front end? We looked at Blue Prism, we looked at UiPath, but we felt that Automation Anywhere was a good mix of both front end and back end, whereas UiPath seems very front end only, Blue Prism's very back end only. We needed a mix for what we wanted to do. So some of the leaders at the time in the strategy and innovation team at our company just saw the need for it, right? We knew there was a lot of manual redundant processes that were just right for automation. So the decision was made, hey, let's bring it on. The POC sort of proved the concept, and then we just brought it in-house and kept going from there. It looks like it's going to be right around 115,000, not counting IQBot, which we won't renew that until later. I've been in software for a long time. I've never seen a perfect piece of software yet. I've seen some very good. I think with everything this is trying to do and the complexities of the environment, I'm going to give it an 8 because I think it's very good. And I think me giving something an 8 is pretty high in this space. So.